Hello. Welcome back to the Smart and Soul podcast. I am Jack, one of your co-hosts of the Smart and Soul podcast, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Sam. How are we doing, Sam?
Hello, I'm good. Yes, I'm very excited to talk about this show. Let me say that.
After last time,
yeah,
I think we needed a bit of a pick-me-up, didn't we? And I just want to apologise for my intro. I didn't have like a quippy little reference for you. You know, like you pretty much do every week for me, and then I did the one. Maybe I just have one per season for you. I'm just not as quick with the brain as you are.
Wow. I'm honestly insulted. I was looking forward to hearing what you had to say about me this week, and you just referred to me as lovely, which is what everyone does. Yeah. I'd like to once again apologise for last week's episode.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I assure you that no, actually, I won't assure you that it'll never happen again, because it probably will happen again that I go, oh, let's do a Saudi Arabia show, and then I'll watch The Miz come out and regret it again.
But this week, though, we are travelling back in time 15 years nearly. Wow, that's way to make me feel old.
Yeah.
When CM Punk was in his heyday of popularity, I guess, in the internet wrestling community specifically, and the hardcore fans, and John Cena had earned his stripes for the last sort of decade. Nearly a decade anyway, and he was firmly, at the top of the WWE and in his prime, but probably earned a little bit of the hardcore fans' respect for his longevity and performances, at least anyway, and having to wade through all the shit that Vince gave him. We are in the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, which is basically Chicago.
It's in the shadow of Chicago, as they like to say. Yeah.
It's July 17th, 2011, 14,815 in attendance and 195,000 buying on pay-per-view for the second ever Money in the Bank event. How are we feeling moving into this, Sam? Your thoughts going into it? Obviously, I'll run through the main stories that we have before, but I just want to get your instant feelings and how many times you'd watched the show previously and your relationship with the show.
So this is going to be interesting, and this is going to lose me a lot of cool kid points. I have never watched this show in full. I'm pretty sure I have only ever watched the main event of this show. So
you would semi-regularly find the match on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah, or Daily Motion or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've watched CM Punk Cena probably a dozen times, especially when I was getting back into wrestling, because 2011, this was at the height of my lapsed fan era. I was not paying attention to what was going on. Early 2014, I got back into things and would kind of pick up on matches that I'd missed during that time that, people said you need to watch this. So I've never watched the whole show. Also, do you want to know a fun little fact that I found? The ticket price range for this show, hold on to your hats, folks, was between $25 and $300.
Oh,
the most anyone paid for this.
More reasonable than
yes, considering I think the cheapest ticket for Backlash, the most recent Fed pay-per-view, was $80, which I understand inflation. But who's paying $80 for Backlash?
Yeah, no.
Not
Backlash
me.
is a $15 ticket pay-per-view.
Backlash
in the
is
nosebleeds, $15
yes,
or some shit.
Backlash is, please come to the show. We'll pay you to come.
We'll pay you, exactly. So, our first main story going into this event, and the thing that probably hooked most people coming into this event, and I am one of those people. I, much like you, Sam, was a lapsed fan around this point, but it was the pipe bomb in June that got me back into it. I would have been 16 at the time, and I used to watch wrestling semi-regularly with my brother, and we had just both been lapsed fans, and then one day I came home from school or college, and he was like, I've been online there, and there's this really cool CM Punk, he's cool, isn't he? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he's done this fucking pipe bomb, watch this 5-minute video. And I watched it and I was like, holy shit. Wrestling's kind of interesting again, right? And I was 16, come on, it's that, it hit me at the right time,
100%.
So this was probably one of the first pay-per-views that I watched back as from a lapsed fan, actually. So story 1, CM Punk is the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. He defeated Alberto Del Rio, and Rey Mysterio on June 20th. After the match, he revealed his contract was expiring the same day as Money in the Bank, and he vowed to win the title and leave the company with it. On the June 27th episode of Raw, CM Punk delivered a promo that would be known as the Pipe Bomb. A work-to-shoot promo in which he said he was the best in the world, berated the WWE for not promoting him properly, called John Cena an ass kisser, and took shots at Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. He also mentioned that Dwayne Johnson headlining next year's WrestleMania made him sick, and proposed that he could defend the WWE title in Ring of Honor and New Japan after leaving the company. He made it genuinely unclear where the script ended and reality began, generated a lot of intrigue from lapsed fans at the time, like myself. As a result, Punk was given a storyline suspension and stripped of his title match. John Cena threatened to walk out and hand back the WWE title if Punk wasn't reinstated, so Vince McMahon relented, but added the stipulation that if Cena lost the title, he'd be fired. Punk still hadn't officially re-signed with WWE when he walked into the arena. He had agreed a 2-day extension just to make it to the pay-per-view, and eventually signed during the show itself. However, for those in attendance and watching at home, we were pretty much in the dark, I guess, and had to find out naturally, and we were really invested. So, story 2. Now, after that heavy fucking
it's
kayfabe bomb,
literally,
we have Christian versus Randy Orton for the 3rd pay-per-view in a row over the World Heavyweight Championship. Orton defeated Christian to win back the World Heavyweight title on May the 6th, which was less than a week after Christian had won it for, I think it was the first time. Christian invoked his rematch clause for Over the Limit. He lost, and then he lost again at Capital Punishment, but that time his foot was under the rope when he was pinned and the referee missed it, so he started bitching and whining and asking for one more shot. And then on the July 8th SmackDown, Christian's lawyers added a stipulation for the match that if Orton was disqualified or if there was poor officiating, then he would lose the world title to Christian. So go figure what is going to happen in that match. And story 3, of course, is Mark Henry versus our boy, The Big Show.
Hell yeah.
Mark Henry's been on a bit of a tear on SmackDown recently, and he's getting a pretty big push in the company. He's about to win the world title, spoiler, in the next few months. In recent weeks, he's been tackling Show off the stage, confronting him backstage, and he interfered in the steel cage match at Capital Punishment and chucked him through the wall. This all started just because Big Show was kind of forced into a match against Mark Henry on a random SmackDown, but Big Show knocked Mark Henry out before the bell, so Henry got really angry and then just started fucking up Big Show. Nice. So those are our 3 main stories, I'd say, and obviously, I mean, they are stories in themselves. You've got the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches for a guaranteed world title shot for each brand. Obviously, you've got just a bunch of mid-card to upper mid-card guys, I guess, in those matches, all with their intertwining things. So they've got that going on. And our first match, actually, is the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. Daniel Bryan versus Kane versus Wade Barrett versus Cody Rhodes versus Heath Slater versus Justin Gabriel versus Sin Cara versus Sheamus. So, Sheamus, Barrett and Kane clear house to begin. Barrett and Sheamus then try to double team Kane, but then get thrown out by the Big Red Machine. Multiple men go for a ladder on the outside until Justin Gabriel hops on the ladder and tries to shuffle it into the middle, but Bryan drop kicks him off. Cody with a disaster kick to Slater whilst meaning to go for Sheamus. Sheamus sets a ladder in the corner. Kane Irish whips Barrett into it and chucks the ladder on the outside to hit Sheamus and Slater. Bryan with a suicide dive through the ropes to Barrett, then Gabriel with a dive over the ropes onto Kane on the outside, then Slater hoists himself up and over the ropes onto Cody, then Sin Cara runs up onto the top turnbuckle and dives onto Sheamus on the outside. That was a pretty nice sequence of spots there. Sin Cara with a huge Spanish fly to Bryan off the top rope. That was also pretty cool.
I did like that.
Yes, he feeds off the crowd but takes too long to capitalize with a ladder, and Barrett boots him. Barrett then props a ladder between the ring apron and the announce table. Sin Cara eats a huge bro kick back in the ring, and Sheamus then powerbombs the luchador through the propped ladder. Sin Cara is then stretchered out. That was a pretty fucking nasty spot.
It was a nasty fall through that ladder, yeah.
It was. Kane then climbs a ladder back in the ring, but Barrett, Slater and Gabriel, the former Nexus and Core members, triple team him. Cody tries taking advantage, but the trio turn their attention to him. Then Bryan tries climbing and they jump on him. Barrett calls the shots and climbs the ladder, but then Slater and Gabriel pull him back down and beat him down before fighting at the top themselves. Cody Rhodes then pushes them both off and delivers a crossroads to Slater and then Barrett before Sheamus wakes up and uses his Irish curse backbreaker on Cody. Kane then fucking jumps off the top rope while Bryan is on Sheamus's shoulders and batters him with like a doomsday device looking thing. Sheamus then bridges a ladder between the middle turnbuckle and the ladder position in the middle of the ring. Kane chokeslams Cody, then Gabriel, but then Bryan comes back in and DDTs Shane. Slater scales the ladder and drops Bryan to the mat. Barrett comes back in to work Slater, but then Sheamus and Barrett use the tip of the ladder to awkwardly push Slater off the top turnbuckle. Sheamus brogue kicks Barrett and Cody, then lays out Gabriel. Instead of climbing the ladder, though, he sets up another ladder bridge on the top turnbuckle and drops Gabriel onto it before delivering yet another brogue kick. He slowly starts to climb, but then Kane thwarts him and chokeslams Sheamus onto the ladder bridge. Rhodes, Bryan and Barrett team up briefly against Kane, then Justin Gabriel hits a gnarly 450 splash off the ladder bridge to Kane on the mat. Barrett then climbs the ladder, but Rhodes pulls him back and sends him to the outside. Bryan climbs, Cody meets him on the ladder, but Barrett climbs up on the other side and reaches over Bryan for the case. Bryan kicks Cody off. Barrett goes for a wasteland off the top of the ladder, but Bryan fights it off, kicks Barrett off and grabs the case in 24 minutes and 33 seconds. Sam, what are your thoughts?
So, I have a few thoughts about this, which is good, I suppose, since we're doing a podcast about it.
Yes.
First of all, let me give my rating and then explain my rating. I feel like that would help. I went 3.75 for this.
Oh my God, Sam, guess what? I went the same.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Have we just synced up?
Yeah, I think we have.
Are our cycles in sync? Have we been spending too much time together? I think it was a hot start to the show. Obviously, I think, you've got a Chicago crowd there who are excited. They're going to be loud. And I think giving them this to begin, great idea. Got the crowd going massively. Commentary, however, was distractingly bad.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Cole, just...
This whole show,
oh my God, just talking pure shite and calling Daniel Bryan a nerd as if Michael Cole has ever been some aficionado of cool. And I understand, like, he's a heel, he's going to have to sound, he'll have to say, like, hypocritical things and whatever, but fucking, come on. Booker T was also just not... I know we like to... put respect on his name and give him his props and whatever. Booker T was never good on commentary. The fact that Jerry Lawler was the most sane person on the commentary booth and
he kept saying to them, we have a match to call here,
literally he was trying to keep them in check, which is wild.
And if it's Jerry Lawler that's doing that, then you've gone too far.
I would have liked to see when Sin Cara, because Sin Cara was over as hell during this match. The crowd popped big.
He was
for him.
smooth as well.
Yes, this was before all the Hunico whatever nonsense. But the crowd was really into him. I would have liked to see when Sheamus powerbombed him, or what was it? It was a powerbomb that he put him through the ladder, wasn't it? And he gets carried off. I would have liked to see a comeback spot for Sin Cara. That
would have been cool.
Not have him win the match, but to come out and get his revenge on Sheamus. And...
we'll see why though in the Raw ladder match why there wasn't.
True.
You can't have similar spots, can you?
No. Well, yeah, I guess not. Fuck me then.
No.
Fuck my rebooking.
I'm agreeing with you. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
No, that would have been cool. But that's just a reason why, isn't it?
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it? But yeah, the match was good. There was some fun spots. Like you said, I really enjoyed that Justin Gabriel's 450 splash.
Yeah.
The Heath Slater thing where he was just like bent over the top of the ladder was scary looking. Because I'm not really sure what the plan was with that spot. Like, obviously there was something that they were meant to do, and it just looked like a kind of, you know, the arse fell out of it a bit. But yeah, you know, like I said, fun spots, but I didn't really care about like 5 out of 8 of the competitors in it. Like Sheamus, D-Bry, and Cody, happy days. The rest I'm just kind of like, you're there. I think also, I understand that Kane has been in multiple Money in the Bank ladder matches and has won a Money in the Bank ladder match. But to me, he just never... It doesn't seem right to have Kane in a Money in the Bank ladder match. He just
in a ladder match in general.
Yeah, he's not a ladder match guy. You know, it's like...
No.
Didn't they had Big Show?
He's a casket and Inferno match guy.
Yes.
Or maybe a cage or a Hell in a Cell.
Exactly.
Like...
That's your wheelhouse. And that's fine. Not everyone, you know, not everyone can do those kinds of matches. But I also think not everyone is suited to ladder matches either. Like, I think it's fair to have, like, you want your bruisers in there. So you've got your Sheamus, you've got Wade Barrett in there. That's fine. Also, Sheamus for G1. I'm keeping this campaign going. And then, you know, you need your high flyers.
Barrett had a good showing in this match as well, though.
Barrett did look pretty good. Yeah. He's got a really long chin, hasn't he?
He does.
I think it's a good thing he had the beard later on. But yeah, the 2011 mid-card was just a very interesting place. Like, Heath Slater being in a Money in the Bank match is very bizarre to me.
Yeah, again, he had a decent showing. He looked all right.
This is the thing.
He got some time to shine.
Everyone got their spots. Everyone had an opportunity to do something. It's just a shame with these kinds of matches that, like, there's star-making potential aside from the person that wins the briefcase. Like, obviously, Brian wins the briefcase. That's him pushed to the next level. But, you know, you have a chance there with the likes of, you know, Heath Slater or Justin Gabriel to give them that spot, or even Sin Cara. It's the same with, like, a couple of years ago when WWE had the US title Elimination Chamber match, and everyone came out of that match talking about Montez Ford because he had a breakout performance, and they just did nothing with him. They stuck him back with the Street Profits, and then they put him with Lashley. They had that little kind of faction going on, you know, New Nation, as we like to say, and he just kind of floated ever since. And I know I'm waffling, but I just have a lot of feelings and emotions and things to say.
And that's fine.
But yeah,
okay.
I think 3.75 is a very fair rating for this.
For sure. Yeah, I thought it was a fun opener for the show. There was a high energy crowd, so good to have a high energy match to match that. And yeah, it delivered, and it was definitely above average. The right guy won.
Yes.
And I love Daniel Bryan / Bryan Danielson / American Dragon. So no complaints here. Unfortunately, match 2 is for the Divas Championship, and champion Kelly Kelly with Eve Torres is against Brie Bella with Nikki Bella. Brie works over Kelly and puts her into a submission move, but Kelly just starts yelling to sell the move rather than show she's in pain. That gives Jerry Lawler the opportunity to again be creepy as fuck and call her a screamer. You have a sloppy clothesline, but then a less sloppy neck breaker, then an awful bulldog where Brie just drives her own head into the fucking mat.
Yeah, that was
good. And then Kelly hits her rocker dropper for the pin and win in 4:48. I gave it a 1 out of 5. The crowd was dead. The Divas title is a fucking joke, and no one in this match can really work a pay-per-view level match at this point in their careers. On to you, Sam.
You're not going to believe this. We're 2 for 2. I also went 1 star.
Fucking yes. Come on.
I'd like to draw everyone's attention to a quote from Jerry Lawler during the Bellas entrance. The Bellas were working heel during this time. Jerry Lawler says, "These girls are so naughty, they deserve a good spanking." Jerry Lawler, at the time of this pay-per-view, was 61 years of age.
61, Jerry.
Yeah. This match was fucking dog shit. This was first day of wrestling training quality. And Kelly, I'm sorry, I understand you said that these are not women who are a pay-per-view level quality match. Kelly has been in the WWE for 4 or 5 years at this point. She has no excuse to still be as bad as she still is.
No, she doesn't.
At this point in her career. I understand that she was brought in on ECW as like eye candy, but you've got 5 years to learn how to do a fucking bulldog properly. You know, Brie and Nikki even, they've been around for roughly a year at this point. Same goes for them. I'm sorry, but you need to be able to take a bulldog spot after a year of wrestling. I will say this about the Bellas that I enjoyed about them at this time was I did like the twin magic gimmick. I thought it worked as like a fun like heel tactic. And they did look very alike at the time as well. Like the way that they did their makeup and their hair, and they dressed in the same outfits. It would have worked on me, honestly. If one of them had gone out of the ring and the other one had come back in, I wouldn't have known. Maybe like a few years later, after some work had been done, then you can tell. But at this time, they look very alike. But I think that's all that needs to be said about this match, to be honest.
Yep, fuck that. Match 3, Big Show now versus Mark Henry.
Yes!
Yeah, Big Show. Yes, the streak continues.
Oh, I love this man.
We need to make sure that he's in the pod as much as possible. So the two big behemoths start slugging it out and end up on the outside quickly. Mark Henry fucking drop kicks some steel stairs into Big Show's knee and then focuses on that body part in the early stages with a chop block, some kicks, and a half Boston Crab submission. Big Show attempts a comeback with a shoulder tackle from the middle rope, then teases a choke slam, but Henry fights it off, hits 2 world's strongest slams and 2 splashes from running the ropes, and then pins and wins in 6 minutes. After the match, Henry stuffs Big Show's leg into a chair, climbs the ropes and splashes onto the chair. Big Show screams in pain and gets wheeled out. I gave this a 2 out of 5. I put that I love a good hoss fight, and this was short and relatively sweet, but quite plodding as both were in the latter stages of their careers, and it shows. What about you, Sam?
This is the first match where we disagree. I went 5 stars.
No.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna fuck with me.
I went 3.25 actually for this.
Oh really? Holy shit!
Listen,
you really liked it then.
Jack. No water, no bread, no sauce, just meat. This, just 2 big meaty men slapping meat, and yes, it was a bit slow, but you know when Godzilla and King Kong fought each other, it wasn't at light speed.
It's true.
I thought Mark Henry drop kicking the steel steps into Big Show was fucking hilarious because he barely got off the ground.
Yeah.
Also, if I don't know because I didn't actually do as much research as I normally do because I kind of wanted the kayfabe surprise and whatever. If Mark Henry didn't legitimately shatter Big Show's ankle, that spot Big Show sells it so well.
Oh yeah.
Like the way Henry leaps, like he does basically like a frog splash onto a chair on Big Show, and Big Show like jumps almost backwards as if he is screaming in agony and like struggling to get the chair off him and whatever. Commentary does use the Owen voice though, so that makes me think maybe it's not real. But yeah, I was a big fan of this. I also really liked that the feud was kind of built around Big Show almost pushing Mark Henry to be like, hey, yeah, I've pissed off Mark Henry, but I can deal with him and I want to see more from him. I enjoyed that, and obviously we do go on to get a Mark Henry world title run and the Hall of Pain and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Big Show gets a couple of title shots as well.
He does.
In the latter stages of 2011 and on some pay-per-views against Mark Henry. So yeah, no, they get a lot of mileage out of the feud for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was simple. It was big meaty men slapping meat. What more could you ever possibly want?
Backstage now with Josh Matthews, and he's with Vince McMahon, and he asks if CM Punk has re-signed. Vince says no and calls Punk the biggest ingrate he's ever dealt with. He then says it's all John Cena's fault and then ends the segment by saying, if Punk leaves with the WWE title, may God have mercy on John Cena's soul.
I really like that segment, actually.
Yeah, that was a good segment.
I think it sold Vince's desperation well.
For sure, and that's the thing, man. Like, it's hard sometimes to separate art from the artist and all that, because whenever he's on TV, Vince, he's just the perfect fucking wrestling heel shit boss. Like, he just gets it, doesn't he? Match 4. It's the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match now.
Hell yeah.
We have Rey Mysterio versus The Miz versus Jack Swagger versus Evan Bourne versus Alex Riley versus Alberto Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston versus R-Truth. We start off, each competitor brings a fucking ladder into the ring. And they just start laying into one another. R-Truth and The Miz, for some reason, have tiny ladders. Del Rio gets thrown from the ring, and then a cascade of ladders fall onto him from wrestlers just fucking chucking them out of the ring. Miz and Truth face off in the middle of the ring with their mini ladders until Swagger lays them both out. Alex Riley and The Miz fight over a ladder in the middle of the ring, and Riley hits a suicide dive onto the outside. Then R-Truth does the same, then Ray, then Kofi both go up to the top turnbuckles and hits everyone else on the outside. Evan Bourne then climbs an outside ladder and hits a fucking shooting star press onto the men below. That
Gorgeous.
was pretty cool.
It was gorgeous.
Bourne then goes for the briefcase, but The Miz thwarts him and Del Rio tips the ladder over, hurting Miz's knee. Del Rio climbs the ladder, but R-Truth interrupts as The Miz is then helped to the back by doctors. This is that spot we were talking about. Evan Bourne and Rey Mysterio hit tandem Hurricane Ranas on Truth and Del Rio. Swagger gets leapfrogged by Kofi, onto the ladder, but applies an ankle lock before realizing Alex Riley is climbing and goes to meet him. R-Truth tips over the ladder and both men crash down, then drop kicks a ladder onto Rey Mysterio's midsection. Kofi hits his leg drop on Truth and sets up a ladder in the middle, managing to evade attacks from Del Rio and Riley, but Mysterio gets the better of him and then hits R-Truth with a 619. Riley and Mysterio battle at the top of a ladder until everyone comes back in and sets up ladders around them. Everyone's on top, grabbing at the briefcase now for quite a while, until Del Rio falls off face first onto a ladder. Swagger sort of gently comes away from the action behind everyone. Evan Bourne then gets thrown to ringside. Alex Riley tumbles to the mat, R-Truth falls off, then Mysterio gets kicked off by Kingston, and then he's the last man left till Swagger gets back up and both men crash back down. The Miz then hops back down the aisle and climbs the ladder, but Ray gets in the way and hits a sunset flip powerbomb. Rey Mysterio climbs, but Del Rio scraps at his feet and then climbs the other side. Ray has a hold of the briefcase, but Del Rio unmasks him and chucks him off. The momentum takes all ladders out of action and Del Rio falls into the corner, but manages to set up another ladder to grab the case and win in 15 minutes, 56 seconds. I gave this one a 3.25 out of 5. I said it was fun enough, but it wasn't better than the opening Money in the Bank match. And I know this is mostly hindsight talking, but I don't like Del Rio, so I would have preferred any other winner, even though he was the obvious pick at the time, and the finish was slightly botched as well, so maybe a little bit of a 0.25 shaved off for that. What are your thoughts?
I had a fucking blast with this one. I went 4.5 for this.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. Obviously, like you said, Del Rio, notable piece of shit, Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
The crowd, when Kofi was the lone guy on the ladders, the crowd got hot for Kofi, which, understandable, and it looked like for all the world he was going to have it. I understand the botched finish with the ladders hitting into each other and what have you, but I really liked the spot of...
The unmasking?
Yeah, Del Rio just being like, all right, well, fuck you, then I'm taking your mask. Because it's like...
I do like that as well.
Yeah, you know it's going to work. Would you like to know a fun fact about this match?
Go for it.
As we know, Alberto Del Rio is not only is he a notable prick, but he's known for his expensive cars that he used to drive during his entrances. I saw his Lamborghini come out. I paused the stream that I was watching it on, took a picture, sent it to my brother, my older brother, who you've met, and you know that this man is kind of like a poster child for autism intelligence and special interests. Yeah. I texted him the picture and I said, hey, what model of Lamborghini is this? In about 30 seconds, I get a response from him being like, oh, it's Lamborghini Gallardo. I was like, thank you. That was actually quicker than Google. So Alberto Del Rio is driving a Lamborghini Gallardo to the ring today. But yes,
Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's shouts out to Kieran for his autism special interest being cars. This was absolute carnage. I think what I enjoyed about this match as well is it was shorter than the first one, which I thought at points went on a bit too long. I think it dragged out a little bit. Whereas this being, what was it, like 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15:56. So yeah, almost 16 minutes.
I think that is a good kind of length for one of these matches where everyone's able to get there.
The amount they got done in that was fucking good.
Exactly, and there was no kind of downtime. Evan Bourne's shooting star press off that ladder was insane. Also, shout out to Jim Johnston for the entrance themes as well. There was some seriously good entrance themes for mid-carders at this time.
Honestly.
Alex Riley and his Say It To My Face, perfection. One
thing they're missing nowadays, isn't it?
Yes, I also really enjoyed the few minutes of reprieve we got from The Miz being on my screen. So
I get you.
That bumped it up. That's honestly the whole reason why I gave this 4.5.
Did your brain just immediately turn off when he did his hope spot coming back with a hop in? And
he did a hope spot when he came back? I'm not even kidding. What was his hope spot when he came back?
What he fucking he limps back in from the back, so he's injured. He limps back in from the back, and then he fucking starts reaching for the case and shit, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I'll be honest. If Miz is on my screen, I just kind of shut him off. My eyes glaze over when the Miz is on the screen. I cannot underscore how much he bores me. So maybe
Sam,
go on.
I'm gonna shock you.
What?
This is where I've done my rebooking.
Hell yes, I want to hear it.
It's I don't know. I don't know if I'd call this my wildest one yet, but it probably changes more of the landscape in late 2011 and early 2012 than was originally intended. But I'll give it a go. Alberto Del Rio winning the briefcase is a decision that felt inevitable at the time, but in my opinion was really disappointing. He was the obvious pick, and WWE obviously had grand plans for him, but those plans involved him cashing in on CM Punk at SummerSlam and killing the hottest angle WWE had for years. We have the same Money in the Bank ladder match, the same competitors, but instead, R-Truth is the one who pulls down the briefcase.
Okay.
Truth at the time, in mid-2011, is a genuinely unhinged heel who believes the company is conspiring against him. Let's play into that a lot more. He'd been in the main event picture against Cena for the title, let's not forget, because we probably still have our tinted glasses on about him just being goofy in 2026, right? He genuinely felt like he was cheated out of what was rightfully his, which was the title. Now he has a guaranteed title shot in his back pocket. So with Truth holding the case, we can let the Summer of Punk story play out naturally and let it breathe. We cut the inclusion of Kevin Nash entirely. Punk can beat Cena at SummerSlam, sorry spoilers, cleanly and stand tall in LA as the undisputed WWE champ. Meanwhile, Truth is circling in the background and watching Punk. He's waiting for the perfect moment, but then he manages to convince himself, because he's going through a paranoia conspiracy thing, he manages to convince himself the moment isn't perfect enough. His brain's telling him that if he strikes as a surprise, something will go wrong and the referee will be in on it, the timekeeper will lose the bell, blah, blah, blah. So he keeps hold of it and weeks turn into months and his paranoia builds, right? And then the Royal Rumble comes around, right? And I'm really, really sorry, Sheamus, but Chris Jericho returns and wins the Royal Rumble.
No.
He goes after CM Punk. And instead of Punk retaining at Mania, we have Jericho winning at Mania. And Truth cashes in his briefcase on Jericho at the next night on Raw, and he actually wins. His reign is really short and really chaotic. It's probably just a few weeks, right, until maybe Extreme Rules. He's convinced everyone is still against him. Then Punk invokes his rematch clause for the title. Jericho does the same. They have a triple threat at Extreme Rules, which Punk wins, and our timeline is restored. Except in that timeline, a couple of years down the line, The Rock would never beat him at Royal Rumble for the title anyway. But that's where the fantasy booking ends.
You know what? I want to see more like this from you.
Yeah? Do you not mind it? I thought it's an alright idea, no?
I think you've been playing it too safe lately. I think you've been you've been resting on your laurels a bit, and you've been coasting This time,
Okay.
you've really fucking pushed the boat out, and
Yeah.
I like the whole, because like you said, R-Truth had that whole conspiracy theory mindset character going on at the time. I like playing into that, especially with as someone who's holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, to be like, well, because that's going to be, that's a kayfabe thing that they never really get into, is like the mentality of someone who's holding it, of like, well, when do you know when to cash in and whatever, because you had, spoiler alert, I guess, after the next match, the ending angle of it and everything, you had the crowd chanting for Daniel Bryan to come out and cash in. And it's like, when he didn't, you kind of look at it as like, well, in kayfabe, is Bryan like, no, I can't cash in now because I'm hurt after that ladder match and I don't want to take any kind of risk. So yeah, I liked it. I liked that. The only thing I didn't like was Sheamus not winning the Royal Rumble.
I know, but it was always going to be between Jericho and Sheamus, and I think the biggest surprise and everything, and the way that they should have gone was probably Jericho anyway, because it was his return, and he was still in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
and,
but he got his match against Punk anyway at WrestleMania.
He did. No, I know, but fucking Sheamus got an 18-second match against Bryan, and you've wasted the Royal Rumble win on that.
That's not Sheamus's fault. Don't take it out on him.
Well, but then I can't extend my rebooking to rebooking the whole World Heavyweight title picture as well, simultaneously.
Well, why not?
Well, okay, then magically it's not 18 seconds. Sheamus earns his title by beating every fucker on SmackDown, and they have a 20-minute amazing bout to open WrestleMania instead of 18 seconds, because both guys deserve 20 minutes.
How hard was that? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I like the rebooking. I want to see more. I want to see more crazy, outlandish,
more slightly crazy ideas.
Yes, good. Look forward to more from you, Jack. You've got the potential.
Lovely.
He's a very bright boy as your son. He needs to apply himself a bit more.
I'm a diamond in the rough.
You are, exactly.
We're backstage again with recent winner Alberto Del Rio, who says he was already a number one contender because he won a triple threat match, and his destiny is to be WWE champion. Unfortunately, Del Rio, you are correct in this instance. We move into match 5, which is for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have champion Randy Orton defending against challenger Christian. Christian immediately leaves the ring to bring a steel chair into the match and offers it up to Orton to bait him into a disqualification, but Randy chucks the chair out of the ring. Christian smacks Orton and we're off. The crowd is firmly behind Orton here, who begins to unload his aggression with punches, uppercuts and a big back body drop. Orton is really exhibiting a lot of aggression and mean mugging and stuff in this match. I'm liking his facial expressions in this match. Back and forth between the two until Christian misses a springboard crossbody to the outside, and then Orton whips Christian into the steel steps and back into the ring. After a flying elbow, Christian goes for the first cover of the match for a 1 count. More back and forth, and then a rest hold by Christian. A roll-up and a 2 count from Orton, then Christian back in control as he measures up Orton for the kill switch. Orton then counters and clotheslines both of them out of the ring. Christian goes back up top but misses a stomp, counters an RKO, and Orton attempts a pin for another 2. Christian hits a diving headbutt from the top for another 2 count and manages to hit the kill switch for another close 2 count, as Orton kicks out. Captain Charisma goes for a spear, but Orton counters with a leapfrog and hits a gut-wrench reverse cutter move for a 2 count. That looks pretty nice.
It was
and
really
I've not
nice.
seen him do it that
Yeah.
often. Orton calls for the punt, but Christian moves, and Orton replies with a power slam and a draping DDT. He sets up for the RKO, but Christian backs off into the corner and spits in Orton's face. Orton then mounts Christian on the mat and rails punches down on him, but beats the ref's 5 count. Orton then just straight up kicks Christian in the butt, in the nuts, and gets disqualified, therefore losing his world title in 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Christian's your new champion. Orton then goes mental and attacks Christian by the Spanish announce desk and RKOs him onto it not once, but twice. I thought 3.25 out of 5 for me. Good match. Decent pay-per-view level match. But the finish was maybe a TV level finish, but I understand that it was the whole story, wasn't it? Moving into it, so you've got to have it as part of that. So I get it because of the stipulation. But a word on commentary again, and Michael Cole, for some reason, he keeps claiming that Orton is entering this new dark place that he's never been before mentally. But he fucking has, man.
That's literally his thing.
In his feud, it's his thing. In his feud with Triple H, didn't he fucking like punt Stephanie McMahon in the head? Like,
yes.
Stop treating us like we're fucking dumbasses and just be like, oh, this is Orton. He's gone back to that place. Not that he's never been there before. Yeah. Stop claiming that everything's a first ever, fucking dick. Anyway, what were your thoughts on this match?
Again, I had a great time with this. I went 4.25.
Nice. Okay. Well, my 3.25 doesn't mean I didn't have a good time. I think I had a really good time.
Yeah, but I had a better time. So
you know, you can have. Of course, you can have a better time.
I liked it more than you did, so I'm happier. Therefore, better than you.
Now go on. What? What did you like so much about it?
Well, I thought these two in the ring together were just smooth as butter. Like they.
Oh yeah, both of them are probably the best workers in ring for this whole pay-per-view. All of the workers, these are the two.
But you think you never kind of think of Randy Orton as, you know, obviously you know that he's, you know, he moves smooth. Like if you were to build a sports entertainer from the ground up, it would be Randy Orton, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but you never think of him as having like great matches. And I think that this, in terms of just like a pure wrestling match, I think this is one of Orton's best ones. Mm-hmm. There was some really good counter wrestling between the two of them. There was some nice near falls. And there was some good, like, I really enjoyed the in-ring storytelling of Christian just trying to piss him off to the point where he loses his head. Because, you know, as much as Michael Cole wants to say that this is a new thing for Randy Orton, you and I and the 14,000 people in the arena and the 195,000 people that bought the pay-per-view at home know that Randy Orton has a history, both in kayfabe and in real life, of having a temper. So it made perfect sense for Christian as kind of, because Christian has always been kind of like a cerebral assassin, you know, for lack of a better term. So it stands to reason that Christian, as the kind of smarmy, wily heel, to invoke this kind of clause into a contract, it's very like MJF-esque to do something like this, and to then spend the match playing up to it. And yes, he gets his ass kicked. Yes, he gets RKO'd multiple times and like battered within an inch of his life. But at the end of the day, he comes away with the world title. Orton doesn't. It felt, though, like they were kind of trying to go for a bit of a double turn here. I don't know if that's what actually happened with this story, but I think the crowd was just so into Orton, like, being incensed and being aggressive that they just wanted to cheer for him. So, I don't know. It felt like...
world.
Yeah, but it felt like it could have been a really good opportunity for a double turn.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe it could have done with a few more minutes, honestly. When you said 12 minutes, I was kind of surprised by that. I think it could have done with, 15, 16 at least.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean... Christian, well, both of them they can go all fucking day.
Exactly. They've both got really good engines. They're not going to get gassed super early. But yeah, I think it was breezy. Like you said, you mentioned a rest hold in there, but I don't really remember seeing it and being like, oh, fucking hell, here we go. It's a rest hold kind of thing.
I think in every Christian and Randy Orton match, they would do at least a few seconds of a rest hold.
There's got to be in a Randy Orton match. Come on.
In my mind's eye, there's like... those are the two people.
Yeah. When you think rest hold, these are the poster boys for rest hold. Yeah. But yeah,
Christian with the long hair and that mesh fucking...
Yeah,
in all the tag matches when him and Edge used to like cut the ring in half and stuff, like all that.
Yeah, he was the rest hold
like it's
guy. Basically
what FTR fucking have based their style on.
They do it really well, though. Don't talk shit about my boys. They're your boys, too.
Mate, I'm not talking shit. I fucking love FTR, mate.
We have matching FTR t-shirts.
We fucking do.
Yeah, this was great. 4.25, no regrets.
Awesome. Good to hear. It's time for your main event.
No, it's time for a Be a Star ad, actually. No one likes a bully. Don't be a bully, be a star. I can't believe you've skipped over that segment.
I'm so sorry.
Now it's time. No, you've done it now. You fucked it. Now it's time for your main event.
Okay.
Go on, carry on.
Pepsi Man CM Punk challenges the chiseled champion in John Cena.
Very nice.
For the WWE Championship. Punk enters to This Fire Burns and sports a new shirt, the one that every cunt wears now.
I had it at one point as well.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
It's a really nice shirt.
The crowd goes absolutely fucking radio rental for their hometown hero, and he basks in the loudest CM Punk chant I think there ever has been. And he waits in the ring cross-legged, and we see signs for if Punk loses, we riot, and if Cena wins, we riot. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. Nice callbacks to the, ECW, Hammerstein.
I believe the Chicagoans, though. I believe that Chicago people would have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They would have done it for their buddy CM. Mm-hmm. John Cena enters the arena and marches down to the ring with thunderous boos. He's been here before, ladies and gentlemen and everyone. Meanwhile, Punk stands by the barrier with his friends Ace Steel and Colt Cabana, making sure that they get on TV.
Yeah.
And they're all sarcastically clapping the champ.
Loved it.
I really enjoyed that. We start with a tie-up and some holds, and we get a super loud "You Can't Wrestle" chant at Cena, and CM Punk whips his head around the arena, and he's like, "Do you guys mean me?" With he's pointing at himself.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "No,
him."
And he points at Cena, and it's like him, and they're like, "Yeah."
All right then.
Punk goes for an early Anaconda Vice submission. Cena counters to an armbar and slows the pace right down. Cena delivers a shoulder tackle, then back to some headlocks and another shoulder tackle before Punk leapfrogs the champ and then hits a drop kick and a headlock of his own and then a shoulder tackle of his own. Cena then leapfrogs Punk, goes for an attitude adjustment, but Punk counters and goes for a GTS. Both guys circle the ring, and Punk puts his educated feet to good use.
Nice.
Cena with a bulldog and a pin attempt, but Punk kicks out at one, then a big clothesline and another pin attempt and another kick out from Punk at one. Punk with a back body drop and a pin of his own, but Cena kicks out at two. Cena with a fisherman suplex for another 2 count, then goes for an attitude adjustment again, but Punk counters with a DDT and a 2 count, and then chucks Cena to the outside, hitting a knee drop to Cena's neck on the apron. Another 2 count. Cena counters a running charge, and Punk hits the ring post. More rest holds now in the ring until a crossbody from Punk for another 2 count. Cena suplexes Punk from the ring apron to the outside and rolls him back into the ring for another 2 count. Cena picks up the pace a little bit with some power moves, but the two start slugging it out in the middle of the ring until Cena applies an abdominal stretch. Punk escapes, hits a hip toss, and both men are now down. I just want to point out, we're probably almost 2/3 through. This has been a slow-paced match, and they've not really done a lot of exertion, but fucking hell, everyone's hanging on their every move.
Yeah.
And it's just so great.
Yeah.
Their storytelling and selling is just amazing. Cena tries to hit his 5 moves of doom. Punk counters and sends the champ back to the outside and then follows up with a middle rope suicide dive for good measure. Punk tries a springboard crossbody back in the ring, but Cena evades and hits the 5-knuckle shuffle, then hoists Punk up for an AA, attitude adjustment, but Punk flips out of it, lands on his butt, hits a leg sweep, and then earns a 2 count. Cena then attempts another AA, but Punk counters with 2 running knee strikes against the ropes and a bulldog. He hits a springboard flying forearm and another 2 count on the champ. Cena then applies the STF submission as Michael Cole screams for Punk to tap out. He's playing the corporate stooge commentator really well, I have to admit, in this match. Punk reaches the ropes to break the hold, kicks Cena in the head for another 2 count. Top turnbuckle for Punk now, attempts a crossbody, but Cena catches him into position for an AA, but then Punk then counters into a GTS position. Cena counters into another STF submission. The crowd heats up even more after that sequence, and Cena drags Punk into the middle of the ring, still applying his STF. Punk manages to escape after a little while, and he applies the Anaconda Vice on Cena. Cena's in trouble, but he uses his strength to literally stand up with Punk on his back, basically, and he hits an AA out of nowhere for a real super close 2 count. Cena goes to the top turnbuckle and attempts a leg drop, but CM CM Punk counters into a powerbomb and another close fall. Punk signals for the GTS, but Cena reaches the ropes and goes back to the top, managing to hit his leg drop on Punk's neck this time. Punk then kicks out again at 2. Cena hits a second AA, only to find that Punk kicks out at 2 yet again. Cena hoists Punk up to the top rope for an avalanche AA, but Punk elbows his way out of it, then hits a Hurricane Rana on the champ. Punk then hits a GTS, but Cena is knocked and rolls out of the ring to the outside. Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis then come out to stare over at Punk, who is caught out by Cena with an STF. Vince calls for the bell and tries the Montreal Screwjob but in Chicago, but then Cena lays out Laurinaitis and tells Vince to fuck off. He enters the ring right into a GTS and the 3 count. Punk wins the title in 33 minutes and 45 seconds. Vince looks forlorn, the crowd go fucking nuts, and the boss calls for Alberto Del Rio to cash in with his briefcase on the broadcast. Del Rio runs out, but Punk catches him with a kick. He runs out of the ring, he hops on the barrier, he blows Vince a kiss, and then he leaves through the crowd with the WWE title. Holy shit, Sam, what are we fucking saying?
This was... I know it's a meme to talk about these kinds of big matches and do the Martin Scorsese absolute cinema thing. But genuinely, this was Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
You know? It was like you said, they hadn't, in terms of like actual moves, they hadn't actually done much for like a large part of the match, but the crowd was so invested and every big move was met with like, oh my God, is this going to be it? And every time Cena had Punk up for the AA, you were like, oh, okay, there it goes. There's our guy being beaten by Super Cena again. A few things I want to point out about this.
Yes.
The difference between this crowd at Money in the Bank and the crowd at One Night Stand 06 is this crowd is legitimately behind CM Punk, as opposed to the crowd at Hammerstein Ballroom just being on ECW side, you know, and anyone that would have been in that situation against Cena would have got the reception that
it's a cult of personality, Sam.
Yes, but it's so true. It is, and that's why I say, like, I believe more that these people would have rioted if Punk lost than if RVD lost, you know? I think as well, like a lot of these kind of big time matches, Cena does a really good job here, and he sort of rises to the level of his opponent. He gives as good as he gets. I think he does an incredibly good job as well of selling his own nerves, because, you know, not only is he defending the WWE Championship, he's fighting for his job as well. Like, there's that nugget in it as well of like, well, if Cena loses, he's fired. And you can see that on his face. Like, there's at one point he does like the white person smile to Punk, and it's like you can see, you know, the way he walks to the ring. He doesn't do his usual salute and talking to Stu, the cameraman, and you know, the greatest hits of Cena. He just gets in the ring and he does his job. Like, he looks nervous. His body language even seems more nervous.
Yeah.
Commentary, as bad as commentary was the rest of the night, they were really good during this match.
They were dialed in for this one, for sure.
Michael Cole threw the whole goofy heel shtick that he'd been playing the rest of the night sort of out the window for this match. They did a really good job of selling sort of the magnitude of the match and the prestige of the championship on the line. Well, you know, they talk about...
They were selling that he was actually going to leave the company, like, with the top title, so they have to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. But, you know, they talk about how, like, this isn't Vince's title. Vince's father came up with this championship, and it's been around, you know, it's been on the likes of Austin and The Rock and Hogan and Michaels and Triple H and, you know, all these legends, whatever. And like you said, the match just, it moves through the gears so well that by the time the finish comes, the crowd has reached like a fever pitch.
Yes. And
as much as we can talk about how great the crowd is and whatever, for anyone that hasn't watched this show or this match, like, what we're saying doesn't do it justice.
No,
like,
you need
this
to experience
crowd
it, really.
is, and like the way I think Lawler makes a point at the beginning of the match, because I think Cole says that it's a very partisan crowd, and I think Lawler says the only thing that he can compare it to is if the Chicago Bears were in the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was being held in Chicago.
Yeah.
This is like if the World Cup final was being held in Argentina and the final was between Argentina and Brazil.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this was like hatred towards Cena, and they were so behind their guy because as well, Punk was a fresh face in the main event scene. So not only is it this is our guy from Chicago, this is a new person in the main event scene, like someone else that can hold the title rather than just seeing it be on Orton and Cena and the same, 3 or 4 guys all the time. That it's almost like a passing of the torch. All that being said, I went 4.75
No, you
for
didn't.
this.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you
yes, I
didn't.
did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I fucking did.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I went 4.75.
Okay, well, I went 5 out of 5.
Well, I knew you'd go 5 out of 5 because you're fucking smarky ass motherfucker.
I thought it was.
I was
a
watching
classic.
it's a classic, but that doesn't automatically make it 5
No,
stars.
well, I
okay?
mean, from my subjective viewpoint, it does.
And that's fine. That's
Yeah.
the point of your subjective viewpoint is that
Well,
it's
I
subjective.
had more fun than you.
Yeah, well, I had. If we look at the star ratings, compare our star ratings throughout the night,
Overall
I
in
had
the
way
show,
more
you've had more fun.
overall.
Yeah, no, I get
Yes,
you.
this is my thing, Jack. Is when I watch a 5-star match, I have no doubts in my mind that it's 5 stars.
And I understand.
If there's a little niggling thing in my brain that's like, yeah, this is like, and don't get me wrong, this match is fucking amazing. It's an amazing match, and I would watch it again and happily do so because it's a 4.75 star match. But I need to be blown away for it to be 5, and it didn't entirely blow me away. And I think as well, part of that is we're 15 years removed from this.
That's true.
Wrestling has changed a lot in 15 years. So a 5-star match in 2011, it might not be a 5-star match in 2026.
Yeah, you're right. Like when I'm 40 or 50 years old and I look back at it, maybe it'll end up being a 4.75 because I'll be like, in my younger years, I loved this Punk
Exactly.
overcoming authority. And when I'm 50, I might be like, oh yeah, no, I appreciated that for what it was when I was
Yeah,
younger.
it's pretty good.
So I guess you're maturing, aren't you? So
I'm just more mature than you.
Yeah, of course.
It's the estrogen. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I thought Cena at this point in his career is super polished in the ring, and he knows his role really well, like you said. And both guys are really giving each other so much respect in the ring, and they're selling like crazy for one another just from the smallest things, and that's how you know you've really caught some like magic there. They're making each other look like $1 million out there, aren't they? With like, and then really in the first 10-15 minutes of the match, it's effortless to them. They're almost in autopilot, and you can just be, and you're like, okay, they're going through the gears, and they're about in the last 15 minutes they're gonna pull some fucking shit out, and they did. And ultimately it was a shocking result which got the wrestling world back into the mainstream somewhat. Like there were loads of articles and intrigue like generated online from it, and it gave the WWE a bit of a boost. A lot of Lapsed fans came back because of this. They don't just say it; it genuinely happened. So, and I'm one of them, really. So, did you give the show an overall rating at all?
I did. For the overall show rating, I went 4.25.
I went 4.5. This is so weird.
What the fuck are you talking about? How are you going to tell me that doesn't make it fine? Then I gave the show an overall rating of 4.75. No, I went 4.25. I think the good on the show was really good, and I think that the worst thing on it was the Divas title match, and that lasted 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So unlike a lot of WWE shows, there wasn't 60 backstage segments or a bunch of fluff in between matches. It was, here's your match, here's your there's a post-match angle, and then we're going to get into the next match. I think there was a bit of an over-reliance on the Owen voice and the kind of injury angles, but other than that, this was after last week, this was such a breath of fresh air as well.
Yeah.
It felt like last week felt like being smothered by a pillow for 4 hours. And then this show was less than 3 hours as well. And it sped through everything.
It flew by.
Okay, yeah, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. It was wonderful. Would you like to know the most important bits of the show, who my best dressed and worst dressed are?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so for worst dressed, we'll start worst dressed. I went with Jack Swagger, partially because I just don't like Jack Swagger.
Yeah, I get
Partially,
you.
I'm not really a big fan of singlets at the best of times. I think some people can pull them off. I don't think it ever suited him. And then it was just this boring black singlet with like a bit of a gold trim. He faded into the background, not only because of his outfit, but because of who he is. Like, do you remember anything that Jack Swagger did in that Money in the Bank match?
Only the bit where he just very slowly got off the ladder when everyone was falling off and taking back
And
bumps.
I think,
He just slowly went down
I think
the
that
ladder.
is a perfect description of Jack Swagger's career. Best dressed now. No one can ever tell me ever again that my bias against CM Punk is getting in the way of me, because I went CM Punk for best dressed.
Okay.
Because it's that t-shirt, that iconic t-shirt that makes its debut, the Chicago print on his tights and on his boots. It was classy. It wasn't over the top. I just really like those kinds of t-shirts with the ring neck and ring sleeves on them. I'm a big fan of those. So, simple enough. No one else really kind of like stood out to me of looking like amazing, So CM Punk for not looking horrible, you get best dressed of the night. Congratulations.
Hey, well done, Punk.
Well done, Phil. I guess that means I have to reveal now where we're going next week.
Yeah, yes, please. That was going to be my next question.
Okay. Jack.
Yes.
Pack your sunglasses and your Hawaiian shorts. We're going to Florida.
Okay.
And for the first time ever on the podcast, we're reviewing a WrestleMania.
Okay.
Next week, we will be reviewing my personal favorite WrestleMania, WrestleMania 24.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So I haven't looked into how long the show actually is. I hope it's not like a 5-hour show.
Well,
I don't know if I can do that again.
If it's as long as Crown Jewel, it will be more enjoyable than Crown Jewel, so...
That is true. So the 4 hours might feel like 3 instead.
Yeah. Well, no, I look forward to it. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And we will have watched and reviewed and give our thoughts on WrestleMania 24. Thank you very much. I've been Jack.
And I've been Sam.
See you later.
Bye.
1, 2, 3.